First.
No.
No.
The commotion all began in Talbot County around 3 this afternoon after Maryland State Police say a man went into this Talbot bank on Tillman Island and robbed it. With only one road in the area, State Police set up barricades and began searching car by car to make sure the robber wasn't trying to make a getaway.
There were 3 cop cars in the middle of the road just like checking and looking in everybody's window.
It kind of makes me nervous, but I feel like it's such a secure area.
They were looking for the person, and that's basically all he said to me, which was kind of unsettling because obviously there's only one way in and one way out.
A reverse 911 was also sent out to everyone in the area, warning them of what was going on.
The bank in Tillman was recently held up by a white male. He is approximately 5 foot 6 inches tall, wearing a dark colored sweatshirt and dark mirrored sunglasses. He is driving a dark, short bed pickup truck, possibly gray. Do not approach as he is armed and dangerous.
Michelle Lewis of St. Michael's says she got one of those messages at her home.
I have a lot of outbuildings, and I just was worried about, obviously, someone like himself coming on the property. It's scary, that's for sure.
Maryland State Police later towed away this gray pickup truck at a home in St. Michael's, although police are not saying if this truck was used in the Talbot County bank robbery on Tillman Island. It's the sound they've been waiting for, baby oysters being placed inside their cages.
This is a great project for Phillips Wharf Environmental Center. It's getting us involved in the community.
Carol McCullough is at the center of launching a new program called Tillman Islanders Grow Oysters. People who live in the area have requested a certain number of cages to hang off a dock in their yard. Those cages have baby oysters inside of them. The plan is for them to be raised until they're adults, then place them on an oyster sanctuary in nearby Harris Creek sometime next spring.
And then they can grow up and be mommy and daddy oysters and make more.
So far, 183 cages have been requested. Today, the cages and the baby oysters arrived from Horn Point to be given to homeowners.
I'm interested in it, and I want to find out more about it. And therefore I've taken on 8 cages.
And the work is minimal. Phillips Wharf Environmental Center asks that every 2 weeks the cages be pulled out of the water so all the silt that's formed can be shaken off.
Just that little effort, you're kind of adding towards like the bigger picture and hopefully helping the bay out.
I'm more scared of a taser gun than a regular gun.
The Ocean City Police Department requested more taser guns for officers. Ocean City Police Sergeant Dennis Eads says the taser gun speaks for itself to bad guys.
On a number of occasions, our officers, just by the display of the device or just simply having the device attached to their belt, it has served as a deterrent.
That means fewer people injured, including police officers. Not a bad two-way street. The X2 model taser seen here was requested in bright yellow so people would recognize officers have the weapons. People agree they're a good idea.
They have them on. Like you said, if it's a deterrent and prevents less crime from happening, then I think it's a good idea.
They send volts through you instead of, actually hurting you. They just tase you and then you're good.
Unlike a bullet wound or even a hand-to-hand combat fight, once the taser stops, the pain should too. Sergeant Eads says after the few seconds the shock stops and people are willing to submit. Chief Bernadette DePino says more tasers mean safer people and safer streets.
That's the #1 priority for us, to make sure our officers go home safely every single night, besides keeping our citizens safe, which is our other top priority. So it's really important, and it keeps our officers out on the street, patrolling the citizens and keeping our community safe.
Snow.
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 Makes me have to get up a little earlier in the morning to make sure the snow's cleared for everybody and get to work.
It ain't too heavy this time.
Not too deep like it was last year.
It's actually kind of powdery and a little wet underneath, so that makes everything a lot easier. There's nothing froze underneath, which is good. I guess I was here about a little after 9 this morning.
Since 7 o'clock this morning?
9:30.
Started in Dover Neck, been out to Wishing Well, been out to Elliott's, and 3 or 4 houses up and down the street here.
We hit a whole lot of houses. Hit about what is this, a 7th one, going on the 8th one. And after that, we probably go on in, eat some soup.
This is the last one I'm doing.
Nice and light. So it shouldn't too many people have any heart attacks, especially not me, hopefully.
Snow.
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 Snow. Snow.
As the sun came up on a crisp and clear September morning, many people were busy getting ready for their day ahead.
For those of us who lived through it, September 11th, 2001 is a day we will never forget. But for these young faces at Greensboro Elementary School, it's a part of history that they can only learn about. Some of them know bits and pieces already.
Family members dying and planes crashing. The day that the planes crashed into Twin Towers and they blew them up.
Some have heard about that day from family.
It means to me that the planes crashed into the 2 Twin Towers and how many people died.
Others from television.
It means that the terrorists attacked the Twin Towers and people started to jump out windows and the buildings collapsed.
But these fourth graders are also learning about the 9/11 attacks from their teacher, Tamra Bowers.
I think I kind of wrote the book out of pride for the country, and I wanted to instill that in the students that I teach.
Bowers wrote a children's book shortly after September 11th called The World Will Never Forget. It gives the details of that day in a way a child would understand.
We want to present them with the facts, and sometimes the facts are a little bit much, but we can bring it down to their level.
She would read the book to her class every year, but now it has become much more than that. The book has been published, and Bowers' words have been brought to life through illustrations.
It's very humbling, really.
Caroline County resident Renee Bushel illustrated the book using her artistic ability. It took her a little over a month to come up with the 33 images inside the book, a process that Bushel says at times was reliving.
Of course, I wanted to go back and look at media pictures of the day that it happened and how I could translate it onto a page that wouldn't be too scary.
It was a moment in our history that we captured, and I thought it was really important to teach kids about that historic day.
A day that will now live on for these students and others across the country, thanks to a teacher who is remembering a piece of the past for future generations.
Americans will never forget. As the sun came up on a crisp and clear September morning.